Hello everyone, Richard here, and I told you we were going to do something a little big, a little different for my next video. And here we are, it's a little one step up. We are going to be playing Uwe Rosenberg's Nusfjord. Nusfjord is a worker placement game by famed designer Uwe Rosenberg. There have been a few videos of this game online, but not nearly enough, to the point where I think this game is a bit of an underrated gem, even though it's by such a big designer. So I just wanted to throw out another video of a playthrough there, for people to look at and decide whether this game is for them. And also, I just want to play it because it's one of my favorite games of all time. So I will not really be going into how the game works exactly, but I'll try to explain as much as I can. I'm really not good at rules explanations that much, so you might not get a lot out of me, but as far as this playthrough is going to go, you'll understand at least a bit of it. It's not that hard of a game to grasp. So in this game, there are different decks, and we will be playing with the A deck today. I think it's a herring, and basically what these are is these are different buildings that we'll be putting out onto our board right here, and they're going to give us points and do special powers that will help us get points at the end of the game. So these buildings, they have little points at the top of the corner right here. So this one's worth 2 points. Some of them are going to be worth negative points. These spaces on our boards are going to be worth negative points. However, money is going to be worth 1 point each. And we also have shares. So I have no idea how shares work in real life, but in this game, basically, you issue them and then you buy them back. And as long as you have shares that you bought back in your company, you are going to get 1 point for them each. This was about the hardest part of the whole game to grasp for me, that and the fish. But aside from that, it's relatively simple, and it also uses the worker placement solo system from A Feast for Odin, where you're going to be putting out 2 different color workers onto the worker placement board, and basically one set of workers is going to be blocking spaces for your second set of workers. And Uwe Rosenberg said that a score of 30 to 40 is about normal for regular play for Nusfjord. So there we go, the pressure's on. Alright, and I think that's enough dilly-dallying. Let's go ahead and start the game. Now the game always starts with the fishing phase. It's a little cute that way. And we actually have a fishing score in this game. It's going to be shown by the leftmost uncovered spot down here on our player board, and that's going to be 3. So that means we get 3 fish during the fishing phase. So let's grab from our little pool right here, and we have 3 fish. And now these fish need to be issued in a specific order. They're first going to go to our elders, which is these little people that we're going to get that helps us activate powers, and they need fish to be fed in order to work, so it's a bit thematic there. They're going to go to our shares in foreign possession, so we have these unissued shares, and whenever we issue them, they become shares that other players can buy. However, in the solo game, this works a bit different. You'll see how it happens. I'll be issuing shares. But if we had issued some, they would go to those shares. Then they go to our shares in personal supply. So we have 2 issued shares. So we're going to put some fish down onto there. And finally, the last fish is going to go into the reserve. And this reserve can hold a max amount of 8 fish, and we can't access these fish immediately because they're not in our personal supply, but there are ways to transfer this reserve over to our board. So that's the fishing phase out of the way, and now we are going to take our first set of workers, which will be the red workers in my case. You can use whatever color. The game recommends red and blue because on the solo game tracker, it has red and blue respectively, but you know, if you memorize your colors good enough, you can use whatever color set you want. But we'll be using the standard red and blue for this game. So let's go ahead and place out our workers. Okay, so this is the main worker placement board out here. This is the 1 to 2 player side. And let me think as to what I'm going to do. I think, first of all, I do not have a lot of resources, so I can't even build sloops and stuff like that. So I am going to go ahead and deforest. Now what this does is this removes a forest strip from one of our spaces, uncovering more -1 spaces, but letting us buy more buildings. And also, it's going to allow us to gain 5 wood. So there we go, there's 5 wood I placed into our personal supply. I also forgot to move these 2 fishes into our personal supply, since that's what you do every time you have fish in your personal shares. They are going to move to your personal supply after your fishing phase. So I have 5 wood and 2 fish. Okay, I have 2 workers next. I think what I'm going to do is I want more fish, so I'm going to build a ship, and I am going to spend all of our fish and 2 of our wood right here. Seems like a lot of resources. I'm going to buy a sloop right here. That's worth 1 point at the end of the game. However, it's also going to cover up this spot right here, which is going to allow us to get 5 fish in the next fishing phase. So that's pretty neat right there. Even though there was a significant cost to it, and all these other ships have a pretty big cost as well. I think we made out in the long run, because we want to get our fish engine building early in the game. All right, and I think for our next action, we are going to issue a share. Because even though we're getting 5 fish, we will only be receiving 2 fish really, since we have 2 issued shares. So I want to start putting shares out there, and I also get 2 gold for issuing a share. So how it works in the solo game is you take an unissued share, flip it over, put it on the issued share space, and I will receive 2 gold in my personal supply. And these gold coins are so dinky and tiny, I kind of dislike them. Okay, and that is our first round out of the way. As you can see, turns are pretty quick in this game. Only 7 rounds here and 3 workers, and there's no way to get more workers, so it gets pretty tight sometimes. But let's move over to our second round. We'll be using our second set of workers in this round, but we have to resolve our fishing phase first. So we are going to receive 5 fish down here, since our sloop allows us to catch more fish. So let's go ahead and grab some. All right, so we have 5 fish right here. We do not have any elders. We do have a share in foreign possession, so I'm going to place this fish onto that share over here. However, that is going to go back to the general supply in the solo game, so this one might as well just go. And then we are going to get fish in our personal shares, and then this goes into the reserve, and this final fish right here is just going to be wasted in the general supply. So we made a net of 2 fish. Right now, get it, net, fishing, whatever. But there's we will be buying back some of our shares with some of that gold, and we will be getting more fish that way. But let's go ahead, take our blue workers, and let's place them out. Okay, so what I think I want to do with one of our first blue workers, I want to build a building. Let's go ahead and take a look at the buildings up here. I've not talked about them yet. All right, so right now we have A buildings and B buildings over here. B buildings are a little more costly. A buildings are a little cheaper. And basically these buildings are going to help us take actions, build out our engine, and give us certain points. And at round 4, some C buildings are going to come out, and these are more like end game goals. So it's a little interesting in that it's a game that doesn't give you your end game goals first. It lets you build up your engine a little bit, so there's a bit of tension as to what you should be going for in the game. But generally, it's not too punishing when the C buildings come out. But anyway, let's take a look at our slew of A buildings and B buildings and see which one we want to take. Okay, and I think the smartest decision right here is to take this shipping office. So it costs 1 wood, 1 fish, and 1 gold. We have 1 of each of those resources, and it's going to provide a discount on our ships. So we have to pay 1 less fish for sloops, 1 less wood for cutters, and 1 less gold for schooners, and that's pretty good in my book. So let's go ahead and pay the resources for this. All right, we've got our gold, wood, and fish. They're all going to go back to the general supply, and we will place the shipping office onto a spot on our board. I think we'll put it right there. It doesn't matter right now. And it's also good to note that the shipping office is worth 3 victory points at the end of the game. So consider 3 of these covered up. All right, next I think we are going to go for an elder. So I think we will go for this harbor master right here that lets us exchange a ship, a sloop for a cutter, and a cutter for a schooner, so it's basically just a 1-to-1 upgrade. And when I take an elder for the first time, I get to use him immediately. So let's go over to our board and see how that works out. Okay, so the elders are going to go up here into the elders section, and we can use them immediately by spending fish from the banquet table. Basically, there's an action in the game that allows you to serve fish. Now, you spend fish up to the number on these plates right here, but you only keep one fish in those plates. And these fish are used to activate elders whenever you put your person onto them. However, when you buy an elder for the first time, you get to use them immediately as long as there's fish in the banquet table. And in a solo game, there's always one fish at the start. So we're going to put this fish on top of the elder, the harbor master right here. Basically, we're going to exchange our sloop for a cutter. And my reasoning behind this is we are going to be getting more fish and more wood later on. And even though that only bumps up our fish income by 1, so we have 6 income, if we get a sloop and cover the next 2 spaces up, we will be getting 7 fish. We also kind of gain 1 point by doing that, but that's beside the point. All right, and then finally, we are going to use our final guy to, I think we're going to use it to build a building. So I just placed my chip on the second build a building spot, so next round we won't be building any buildings. But I am going to grab this pier house. Wait, no, that's not smart because I have an elder that allows me to exchange ships. So let's not do this. I am going to get this forest lake hut because I will be doing some reforesting, and after I reforest, I can get 1 gold and 2 fish. So that's kind of an easy way to get some resources right there. So let's go ahead and put this on our board. All right, and we're going to place it right there to leave some space for reforesting. And we are going to spend 1 wood from our personal supply. All right, and that is round 2 out of the way, so we'll move up to round 3. Since round 3 is red, we are going to retrieve all of our red workers from the board and place them down here. And now we will use them in this round. Okay, so we are going to start our 3rd round. We have 6 fish in this phase right there. It's kind of wasted, but we will make sure to get back some of those supplies. So we'll take 3 and 6 right there. So first, one of our fish is going to go onto our harbor master. Then this fish is going to go to our share in foreign possession. So it basically just goes back to the general supply. Then we have 2 fish in our personal shares, and 1 fish will go into our reserve. And then this little fishy right here is going to go extinct. Bye-bye. Okay, we'll move these fish from our personal shares into our personal supply, and then we'll pick these up right here. And let's go ahead and do some worker placement. Okay, so here we are. I think I am going to reforest. So I place 2 forests on a free double space. So we'll take 1 of these, 2 of these, and I will place them on this space right here. And you have to stack them on top of each other. You can't like place a single on 2 available 2 spaces. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you know, you have to do it in the way that it says on the board. And since we have the forest lake hut, we are going to receive 1 gold and 2 fish after reforesting. So I went ahead and put those in our supply, and then I think I'm going to use this to deforest right here, doing a lot of foresting. And I'm going to remove 1 forest and gain 5 wood. So we'll take this strip off right here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this 5 wood into our personal supply. So we have 5 fish, 6 wood, and 1 gold coin. Oh, we should get another gold coin too. So I have 2 gold coins now. So I think now would be the worst time to build a building because I went ahead and covered up my building spaces. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of those to build a sloop since I have a ton of wood, and then I can use my harbor master in order to exchange the sloop for a cutter. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to build a ship. We're going to build a sloop right here. Let's go ahead and spend the resources. All right, so that's going to be 2 wood, 2 fish right here. So that's going to go into our supply, the general supply, and we have this loop, so place it on the rightmost space, and now we are going to get 7 fish. However, if we upgrade the sloop to a cutter, we will be getting 8 fish, so that is exciting. But the round is over, so let's go ahead, and we're on round 4, and now on round 4 we are going to place 4 C buildings in the display. Now, since the display is full of A and B buildings right now, I am just going to take 4 C cards and place them into my hand. So I'll just basically inspect them and show you guys what's in here. But right now we're just going to retrieve our workers and go on to the next fishing phase. So since round 4 is blue, we are going to take our blue workers back right here, and then we will do our fishing. Okay, so we get 7 fish. All right, so 1 is going to go on our harbor master, and as you can see, this guy's all full of fish. So what's going to happen is we're going to grab 1 fish, we're going to put it into our personal supply, and then 2 of these fish are going to go off. All right, 1 of these is going to go to our shares in foreign possession, so it's going to go back to the supply. We need to start issuing our shares. We basically got 2 negative points right here, geez. 2 of these fish are going to go into our shares, which will just go into our personal supply at the end of the fishing phase, so it doesn't matter what happens right now. And then 1 fish will go into our reserve, and these 2 fish here are just going to be thrown back into the ocean. All right, let's get working. Okay, so we are going to use our first blue worker to build a building. So I'm going to put it on the build a building space, and I think we should take a look at our C buildings right here. All right, so right now we have an aquarium, which is going to give us 2 victory points per elder. We have a retirement home, which immediately gives us 1 gold per elder. It's worth 7 points too, but it takes 7 gold and 2 fish. I don't know how I'm going to get 7 gold. We have a shipping line, which is worth 2 points. It's immediately going to give us 3 fish per sloop, 3 wood per cutter, and 1 gold per schooner. So that's a bit cool. And then the small forest castle, which is the cheapest right here, it's going to give us 1 victory point per forest, which we have 4 of right now, but we could obviously do some reforesting. So, I mean, right now the aquarium, the retirement home, the shipping line is within our reaches. However, we want to have boats out before we do this because we want to have schooners and sloops, but the forest castle and the shipping line are the most viable ones right now. Actually, let me take a look at this. Okay, so actually right here I've been debating, and I think going for the shipping line will be pretty good, because once we build it, so we'll spend 2 gold coins from our personal supply. Once we build it, we're basically going to get 3 fish because we have a sloop, and 3 wood because we have a cutter right here. So we're going to have 7 wood and 9 fish, and that's pretty great because that can help us get some of our other buildings. Okay, well, as you can see, our personal supply is getting a little full there, but our shipping line also gives us 2 victory points. So we spent 2 victory points to get 2 victory points. That's not so bad because we will hopefully get some in the future. Oops, I'm pretty sure I only spent 1 gold on that shipping line right there. Okay, what I think I'm going to do right now is I'm going to buy all of our shares. So in rounds 4 to 5, it's minus 1 gold to buy all the shares. So that means this share right here is going to be free. You can see the sort of strategy that comes in with all of this right here. But I'm going to go ahead and put this share into our personal supply. We'll be getting 1 more fish with that. And we have 1 more worker. So what should we do with this guy? So we have 3 rounds left, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve some fish so we can utilize some elders in the future. So let's go over to the banquet table and see how this works. Okay, so we can serve as many plates as we are able to. I don't think we'll serve too many, but we'll see because we'll be getting 3 fish in the future. But we'll serve 1 here, that takes 1 fish. We'll serve 1 here, that takes 2 fish, but we only leave 1. And we'll serve 1 there. That's going to take 3 fish, but again, we only leave 1. And since we serve 3 plates, we are going to get 3 coins. Okay, but we're done placing our workers for now, so we are at round 5. We are going to take all of our blue workers back, our red workers back, and we will be using them in the future. Okay, so we have our fishing phase right here. We are going to receive 7 fish. 1 is going to go on the harbor master. We have no shares in foreign possession, so these just go into our shares in the personal supply, which will go to our personal supply as well. And then we'll put 1 in the reserve, and all the rest gets cast off into the ocean. So we're wasting a bit of fish, but it's not too bad right now. Okay, so what I think we're going to do for our first move is we're going to activate our harbor master. So we're going to grab a fish from the banquet table, place it onto him, and we are going to exchange this cutter for a schooner. So we'll move our sloop over to the side. We'll be getting 8 fish now, but also the schooner is worth 4 points. So that's pretty cool, isn't that? That's going to give us way more points at the end of the game. Okay, I'm going to set us up to issue a share and gain 2 gold. So we'll take one of these unissued shares, place it here, grab 2 gold, and put it into our personal supply. And then let's go ahead and take a look at our C buildings again, see if I want to build any of them, or our B buildings, because those can be really helpful too. Alright, so looking at our B buildings, we have the ship holding company. After you issue a share, we get to build a ship. We already issued a share in this round, so that's not going to be helpful until later rounds. The town hall, turn 1 unissued share in your supply to the other side immediately. That's pretty good. However, you have to spend 1 to get 1, so basically this is only going to give us 2 victory points, not 3, but that's going to give us more fish as well. Seafaring Society, after you build a ship, you get 1 gold. That one's not great. The residential home, whenever one of your elders discards 3 fish, you gain 1 wood. That's pretty cool. The boat carver, if you have 4, you get 4 victory points if you have 6 ships, including the cat boat, which is the first boat that's pre-printed on your board. And then the lighthouse, whenever there are 8 fish in your reserve, just transfer the reserve. I don't think we'll go for many of these. The residential home sounds pretty good though, because we have 5 coins in our personal supply right now, so we could have 2 coins left over. So you know what? I think we might go ahead and build the residential home, because that is just 4 points right there, and our harbor master is going to discard 3 fish in the next fishing round, so we'll get an extra wood for that, so that's not too bad. Alright, so I placed our red worker on the build a building spot. We'll grab the residential home. Let's go over to our board. Looking a bit cluttered with all our forests, but we'll splat that guy right down there, and we'll go ahead and spend 3 gold coins for it. So pretty proud of that residential home. Our harbor master can go there when he decides to retire at the end of the game though, because he still needs to work for us. He's still on duty. Alright, and with that, round 5 is over. So we'll be going off to round 6. 3 C buildings are going to go into our display. So we'll just take these 3 C buildings and put them into our hand, and we'll take back our blue workers, of course. I'd also like to note that the copy in action for 4 players spot is here available to me in this game. However, I haven't had to use it yet, but we might within these last 2 rounds because spacing can get a little bit tight. Okay, so we are going to get 8 fish right now. So we're going to get a fish on our harbor master, which is going to give us a fish in turn because he is all full of fish. We are going to gain 3 fish because we have 3 shares in our personal supply and no shares in foreign possession. Oh wait, we have 1 share in foreign possession. So this fish is going to go away, but since we get 8 fish, we also get a fish into our 3rd share in our personal supply. So we're all good on that. So we've issued 5 fish right now. 1 is going to go into this reserve, which is just chock full of fish now. We only have 6 fish, so our reserve isn't full of fish. God, I'm getting sick of saying fish. Alright, and the final 2 fish are just going to be chucked back into the ocean. Alright, so we have our blue workers right here. Let's get cracking. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our new C buildings right here. So we have the wharf. Once your hull size equals 10, build a ship. 1 free schooner, only once. We have the market hall, which immediately we gain 3 gold, and that's also worth 4 points. So you know what, that's pretty cool actually. And then the fish market, we immediately get 5 gold. It takes 25 fish, 2 wood, and it gives us 3 points. So actually the market hall and the fish market don't sound too bad because we're not too far off from there. But let me see if we can get the market hall later towards the end of the game. So we have 7 wood, 9 fish and 2 gold. So we'd have to be making 5 fish within the next round. And that is a bit risky because we'd have to have all of our issued shares. Why don't we go ahead and finally use this copy in action space, and we will copy the issue a share space right here, and we will get 2 gold for that. Okay, so I put the 2 gold into our supply. We have 2 shares here. Now let's go ahead and buy back all our shares. Now in round 6 and 7 it is worth 2 gold less, so we actually are going to get these shares back for free. All right, and we have 1 more chip left. Let's see what we can do. So I think we actually might hold off for that market haul later, and we'll bank on us having enough resources to buy a cutter or a schooner, because that schooner is worth 4. We can buy this schooner for 4 coins. So let's see, if I can just get enough coins, then maybe we can buy the market haul. We'll get 3 gold. Actually, I think that'll work out. So maybe right now, let's go ahead and we shall thin out and gain 1 wood per forest. All right, so right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 wood right here. So we are going to gain 4 wood and put it in our personal supply. Now our personal supply can only hold up to 12 wood. However, that's not an issue right now. And we are absolutely brimming over with pieces. Let me move the general supply out of the way so our personal and general supply does not get mixed up. Okay, and that's going to end the round, so let's go over to round 7, the final round, and we will take back all of our red pieces. All right, and we'll start our fishing phase. We have 8 fish right here. 1 is going to go to our harbor master. 5 fish are going to go into our personal supply because they go into the shares in our possession. We are going to put 1 fish in the reserve, and the rest of the fish are just going to float away. But okay, let's go ahead. I think our course of action is going to be build the market hall, build a schooner, and then use our harbor master to get more points by turning a sloop into a cutter, I think. Or if we have leftover fish, we can serve fish into the banquet table and get gold for that, which is also points at the end of the game. Okay, so let's go ahead, build a building, and we'll take this market hall right here. Okay, we'll place it down, and let me just count up all the stuff in our personal supply just to make sure we have enough money for this. Not enough money, sorry, enough resources for this. Okay, so here's our big chunk of resources. We're paying for that market haul, but it's worth it in the end, trust me. So we'll put those back into the general supply. I'm sure it's feeling good getting a restock right there. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4 coins, 4 wood, and 1 fish left. But since we built the market hall, we are also going to get 3 gold. And I also feel bad because I completely forgot about our shipping office, which discounts on our ships. So our schooner is actually going to be minus 1 gold. So it was a 4 gold for 4 victory points trade, which I was thinking was kind of stupid, but we actually are going to get 1 extra victory point out of this right here. So we will pay 3 gold for our schooner. And it's kind of a shame that we invested in the market hall, since this wharf would have given us a free schooner once our hull size equals 10. However, that is more of something that would have come out round 4 and helped us, because there's no way we can get enough fish at that point. All right, so what I think I'm going to do as a final action is I am going to, so I can't serve fish. I don't want to transfer my reserve because I can't do anything with that after that. I can't issue a share. So I think just to maximize as much points as possible, I'm going to take an elder. And I'm going to take the constructor and use him immediately. So he's going to allow us to build a ship or a building, and let's see what that gets us. All right, so we'll put the elder right here. We have fish on the banquet table to use. We'll place it on the constructor, and we can build a ship or a building. Now, we can build the schooner because we have 3 gold in our supply, and we get the discount on the 4 gold for the schooner. However, we can also build a building, but none of the A buildings are going to give us as many points as the schooner will. So what I think I'm going to do is just build this schooner, place it on our board right here. We reach our max fishing level and spend 3 gold in order to get that. I don't know how smart that of a play that was, but we will see in the end when we tally up all of our points. Okay, so it's going to be the end of the game. You can see my previous place for Nusfjord right here. But we are going to make a new entry into the book of solo gaming, and we'll tally up the points right here. All right, so 4 points on our buildings. 4, 4, 3, and 2, so that's going to be 8 plus 5, so that is 13. Then we have 4, 4, 4, and 1, so that is going to be 13 as well. And then finally we have 1 coin right here, which is going to add 1 to our total, which will give us 27. Actually, I almost forgot we have these 5 shares in our personal possession, which is going to give us 1 point per share. So we're going to add 5 to our grand total of 27 victory points to gain 32 victory points. And as you can see, I actually got that one right there a few plays ago. So hopefully I haven't middled out on my scoring at Nusfjord, and that's the best I'm going to do. But honestly, that was pretty good for my 3rd playthrough, I would say, of this game. And all of that was with, again, the herring deck right here. There's another deck and then 2 expansion decks. However, good luck trying to get those expansion decks because they are out of print. I did send an email to Uwe Rosenberg's design team about it. They got back to me. They said they might reprint it next year. However, I'm honestly doubtful because even though this game is great, it is a fantastic solo game, quite literally one of my favorite solo games, it really wasn't a big hit with the standard market, and that's quite a shame because I think this is a great little worker placement game, and it is surprisingly quick. Even though it wasn't a quick playthrough right now, I have breezed through this game within 15 minutes or so. And I think that's going to end it right there. Thank you for watching this video, folks. I was trying something new right here with my camera setup and everything and the new audio setup, and I think it's going to work out pretty well. But hopefully you guys found this video enjoyable. Hopefully I didn't make too many mistakes. We'll see about that when the comment section comes out for this video and it turns out I actually only got 13 points. And I really had fun with this. I really did, trying something new and having a blast, basically. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you in the next video, whenever that might be.